Welcome to the Solopreneur CEO podcast. I'm Karen Kilby-Clark, and along with my co-host, Marcia Sheehan, we help solopreneurs lead with clarity and build businesses that grow without burnout. This show is for solopreneurs who've built something real, but are carrying more of the load than they want to be. Your business works, but it depends too heavily on you. And deep down, you know it shouldn't feel this hard. Here, we talk about the mindset, systems, structure, and support it actually takes to run a business without sacrificing your well-being. We're not about hustle culture or pushing harder just to survive. This podcast is about stepping out of reactive solopreneur mode and into CEO-level leadership so your business can support your life instead of consuming it. If you're ready for honest conversations, real-world strategies, and a lot less pretending, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to Solopreneur CEO. We hope you really enjoyed last week's episode. I loved it so much. Marcia interviewed Elle, and we are planning to do more of those types of interviews. It's a little play on like how I built this, but we call it how I run this because in this podcast, we talk all about how solopreneurs run their business and have a business that supports their life and all the things. We're going to talk today about attention leaks. There's so many things that are competing for your attention when you're a solo operator, when you are the only real employee, like you're the one person that is most definitely in your business doing the things. And there's a lot that you have to pay attention to. I mean, that's just the reality of it. But there are places where we've noticed that solopreneurs tend to have what we're calling attention leaks, where if they tighten their focus a little, they could put their time and energy into the places that really need them and reclaim some of that time and energy from places that they don't need to be paying attention to as much. Let's kick it off, Marcia.
Yeah, this is always going to be a good and timely conversation because exactly what you said. We're solopreneurs, we're working on our own, and we can get in our own way by overthinking things and trying to make decisions that have already been made. It's funny because I don't want to contradict things that we say and that we do, because one of our things was optimizing your offer, but that can be an energy leak too, where you're just constantly tinkering and trying to fine tune things that you're already doing. That's where that confusion and the mental hamster wheel comes in, where you're, instead of looking at the high level things that need to be done. I had lunch earlier this week with someone who I want to be on our How I Run This series. I'll talk to you about that offline, Karen. Sorry, you're not in this conversation. It's like inside strategy. Anyway, sorry. Hate to do it to you, but this person that I want to have on the next series, she actually has been in business for about a year, but she has a different business. The one business led to this newer business. She's still kind of in that hustle mode. She's figuring things out and she is tweaking. And I think that that's something anyone listening can relate to. It's like at some point in your business, like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall, you're trying different things out, you're seeing what's in alignment with your energy and your focus and what you want to do. But then at some point you do realize okay, I need to stop doing that. And I think we do that, and we do it well, but then maybe you're in the cave working on a summit, or launching something. Those little thoughts in your head start to spin around and say okay, well, you're no good at this, or you should be focusing on this, or that you don't really have to focus on the summit. You can work on your copy, or you can do this or whatever. It's just the little side steps and the sabotages and everything. It was kind of illuminating to have that conversation with her, where she's had the first family-owned business where she's basically doing everything. She's involved in everything and doing all of the business aspects, even though her husband's her partner providing the service. So she is used to running things on her own, and then she spun off on her business to create a marketing agency. With that marketing agency, like, she can take what she had from the family business, but it's a completely different avenue. That's why I always encourage people to get out and talk with other people, because it doesn't matter what you see on their social media or what you're reading in their newsletter. It's like having those real life conversations with your peers or with people who might be a little further down the road or a little behind you. It's just getting that perspective that, like, we're all doing something similar and we're all having similar fears and thoughts and aspirations and all of that. So it's a great it's a great equalizer. Karen, land the ship. Land the plane.
I love land the ship. That's the new one. I'm doing that. I'm saying that all the time now. Land the ship. But no, I think you're right. It is important to be in community and conversation with other solopreneurs or entrepreneurs or business owners and also outside of your industry. I like that you mentioned she's in a different industry, but that can be really eye-opening to see how things work or what challenges people are having in a totally different industry from you, and you can bring some of those best practices into your own business. So there is a level of testing and learning that is just always happening. I mean, research and development, I think it's called on the tax, if you're interested in, and I'm not a tax professional, talk to your accountant, but there is a category of deduction, research and development. So, but because it's important, like you are always going to be doing that. You have to stay in the trenches with your customers. And to do that requires a level of not cave living, right? Like you have to come out of the cave and you have to build a little bit in public, which is not comfortable for most of us. A lot of us probably are just like creatives and our offers are like our little children and things. And you don't really want anyone to tell you your baby is ugly, and they're not going to say that, but you might interpret that from a launch that flops or an offer that's not quite doing well or an email that didn't get as high an open rate. Or I mean the mind fuckery that happens when you put things out there and you don't get the response that you're hoping for is a level 1000. Literally before we started recording, Marsha and I were talking. We always have some little pre-talk, which helps warm us up. And I was talking about my email. I had a super ice cold. I mean, I don't know if you could get, it was like sub-zero frozen email list of people who had opted in and over the years. And I'm just so inconsistent. And then other things were pulling my attention and this wasn't my focus, whatever. And I decided 25 days ago, I wanted to send daily emails, Monday through Friday, though. I don't email on the weekend. And my open rates, they've been varying. They hover probably around 20%. In my mind, I'm like, oh, best industry number is 30 or 40. And I'm at 20. So obviously I suck, right? No one wants to read my emails. Why am I even doing this? That's my first thought. I'm like, is this a good use of my attention, my energy, my time? Then I have to think about the people who have replied. I actually have gotten replies because I ask questions in there and people who are like, oh, that's so cool. Or I hadn't thought about it that way. I had one of my emails, which was just like, what would you do with an extra 10 hours per week? Because I was just like, I'm curious. And literally people replied. I was like, this is kind of fascinating. I have to bring that into my brain space of no, this is a good use of my time. I'm building relationship. It's not for everyone. People are unsubscribing every time I send an email, and that's fine. I say thank you for making space for the ones who should be here. I appreciate you. Reflecting even on that, like I am putting energy and attention into a place that I haven't before, email. And I am going through my own mental landmine of what it is to give energy to that, what result I thought I would get. Maybe I magically thought 80% of people would open my emails after they haven't heard from me in 2 years. I mean, maybe that was unrealistic, but it didn't seem like it at the time that I thought about it, But having people to talk that through with and having those conversations with other business owners is 100% a good use of your time and energy and attention. I would always prioritize anything related to building a relationship with other people over the cave tinkering, over analyzing, overthinking that happens, because that's just gonna keep you kind of in that mental hamster wheel, like Marsha mentioned, versus getting out, being in the trenches, having the conversations, engaging with people on social media. It just gives you different perspective. And you need that when you're a solo operator, solo CEO, because you will get stuck. You will. You will get stuck. Those thoughts will keep telling you stuff that doesn't make sense, but you're going to be like, oh, I guess, yeah, you're right. I do suck. Like, why am I even doing this? Oh, this was a stupid offer. That was a dumb idea. I could go on and on about this.
I feel like it doesn't matter what type of problem we're dealing with. People are always the answer, you know? I mean, sometimes AI can give you some answers, but it's nothing that I don't know. It's just whenever you're in the room with other people and you're hearing what they're going through, like, and it might not even be something that you're battling with, but it can like unlock something from previous times, like issues that you might have had or problems that you might have had. But I think having relationships with other business owners, that's definitely one of the things that's going to propel you forward in business. So we started this conversation talking about leaks that we can have, right? And like fine tuning and nitpicking at things. And I think this actually wasn't business mentorship that I received, but it was from my older sister. And it was when my kids were really young. And she's like, Marsha, you got to stop doing A+ work. She's like, aim for B- or C+ work. And I was like, what? Like, I got C's all throughout school, lots of issues with education. And I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. But then she basically explained to me her being a very high achieving go getter. Like, I don't think she's C-suite, but I don't really know what she does. It's something in the online world. It's not a OnlyFans. Anyway, I hope she listens to this. But so she has this very like STEM related field that she's working in, and so she's used to overachieving and doing everything perfectly. And so she saw that, she recognized that in me with the kids, how I was trying to raise the kids and not screw them up too much and all of that. And she's like, just do B-C+ work. Up until that point, I hadn't realized that I was trying to achieve this certain level of perfection, but it was in everything. Like, I just felt like so physically, like I felt tense and I felt uptight and everything. And when she said that, I was like, what does B- or C+ work even look like? And it was basically like maybe taking a breath, maybe walking with the kids and not thinking like, how can I maximize this time by going to the grocery store and grabbing some food and whatever. It's when you're used to striving and you're used to achieving and bending things to your will, at some point you have to realize that's not necessary anymore. You don't need to have such a tight grip on everything with your daily emails. It's like that's part of being an entrepreneur is you kind of have to be delusional, right? Like you have to be delulu because if you're not optimistic, if you're not batshit crazy, you're not going to make it. Because who can really go out and just allow themselves to be judged and seen and picked apart in public, and like building in public, you have to do that because there's no way to know if stuff is going to be successful or not. Sure, you can do market research calls and you can have a million conversations with people. Would you buy this? Would you not? But those people are faking the conversation because they don't want to make you sad or mad or whatever. So the only way to know if you're going to get results is to do the damn thing, right? And you're doing that with your emails. And you feel exposed and you're like, where's my 80% open rate? Luckily, we know the data. We know that it's like a 2% conversion rate, but you have to reach a certain level of people. And so you're actually like beating that conversion rate. I think you need to give stuff enough time to then look at the data. And so maybe not spend as much time on every single email where then if you're not getting the results that you want, you're like, F this, I'm throwing it all away. So it's like you're putting forth effort. You're not bojangling everything. You're actually like putting in time and attention and energy, but it's at a rate where if something flops, you're not like, ugh, because it's part of a bigger picture, right? I think right now it's like it's just getting that data. It's like you revisited this lead gen part of your business for you. So right now, the focus isn't getting people to sign up, it's figuring out what's actually connecting with the people. So, yeah.
That's so true. If you feel like your attention and your energy is all over the place and like you're not focused and oh my God, what should I do next? I don't even know what I'm even doing here. Look at your data. Your data can help you to focus in your attention. Your data can tell you maybe it is the offer that I need to make some tweaks to, or is it the landing page? Maybe my email subject lines need some attention so I can get a higher open rate. I love that you brought that in because it's very emotional. We talked about this is your baby and all the things, but looking at the data can help you pull the emotion out and just say, okay, the facts and figures say this is where I should put my attention and focus. And that can be very helpful so that you don't have to feel scattered or unsure about where to do a thing and get out of your cave. You're in the trenches and you're talking to people. That's also helpful data. The feedback that you're getting, the conversations you're having, the insights that you get from having those interactions. It could be as simple as interacting with comments on Instagram posts or threads. What are people saying? What are people complaining about? What are people loving right now? All of that is data, so that can help you so that you can focus because you do not want to put your time, you have limited time and attention. That's just the reality. Time, attention, and energy are very limited for everyone, but I think even more specifically for a solo entrepreneur because you have so many hats to wear, you have so many things to think about, so many things that have to get done in your business, and you're the one-stop shop. So you have to have some precision with how you deploy your time, your energy, and your focus. And so the data, I love that you brought that in because you don't want to make your decisions on emotion as much as you want them to be based on data. Emotion is what's going to drive you in the beginning, obviously, because you're starting. You don't have data yet. But once you are in the trenches, your business is successful, you're doing the thing, data needs to be the thing that leads your decision making and where you're putting your focus. So hopefully you got that from this episode because that's like the top takeaway. Data, 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 data.
If you have tuned in more than one episode and you like what we're talking about or you're getting any type of value, we would love for you to leave a 5-star review either on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you're listening to this. And we will see you next week. Thanks so much for spending time with us today. If this episode made you feel seen or helped something click, join our free community at thesolopreneurceo.com. This is a space to connect with other solopreneurs who are building sustainable businesses and don't want to do it alone. And if you found this conversation helpful, leaving a quick review helps more people find the show and reminds them they're not the only ones feeling this way. We're really glad you're here, and we'll see you in the next episode.